Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my 1 to 99 crafting guide. So crafting has been one that's been requested by a lot of people, so I figured now is as good a time as any to bring out to you guys. Crafting is actually a pretty simple skill, and there are only a few methods that are actually at all worth doing. Before getting into the methods, I would like to point something out, which is that crafting is a buyable skill. It's very high experience per hour, but it costs money to train. There probably are some methods out there that cost very little or may even profit at times, but those methods will always be very slow experience and will be a waste of time. It's better to designate for yourself a high profit moneymaker such as runecrafting or Zulrah, and use that to bring in good amounts of money, and then use that money to do the most effective training methods for buyables if you're wanting to train them. In addition to this, crafting is a relatively inexpensive buyable anyways. Prices generally fluctuate between 2 and 4 GP per XP, which means that 99 will likely cost in the region of 30 to 70 mil. Okay, so when you first start off with crafting, you do have a couple of options. If you're thinking about long-term progress in your account, you're going to have to do a lot of quests regardless, and there are a lot of quests that give crafting experience. In the description, I'll have a Wikia page link that lists out all of the different quests you can do for crafting experience, and there are a lot of them. When I first created my account, I started off with mostly questing until I had the quest cape, and I hardly trained crafting before I was around level 40 crafting. This being said, you can start off training the skill from level 1 and get to 40 in about an hour, so it's up to you what you choose. From this point on, I'm going to cover the methods you can do directly, but questing can be a nice option for low levels if you have plans to complete those quests eventually anyways. Whenever you're doing a buyable, you should always be aware of the XP per hour of the method you're doing and the GP per XP cost of the method. rsbuddy.com/efficiency is a page that calcs the GP per XP of the most common methods of training the buyable skills, so I would refer to this page whenever you're watching this guide to see what the GP per XP cost is at the time that you're planning to do crafting. If something is 10% faster XP per hour but costs twice as much per experience point, then it's probably not worth it to do it, but if it costs 10% more and is twice as much XP per hour, then it probably is. Like many buyables, GP per XP fluctuates heavily with crafting, so it's best to use this page to weigh your options at the time that you're watching this video. Alright, so if you want to start off with crafting at level 1 and you don't feel like doing any questing, then the best thing to do until level 20 is to craft leather items. And at level 1, the only thing you can craft is leather gloves, and any leather item that you can craft uses only one soft leather, so you just want to craft the best leather item that you can as soon as you get to the required levels. And leather gloves are around 26k XP per hour, and once you get to leather bodies, I think there's level 14, you get about 47k XP per hour, so you can get to level 20 in like very, very short amount of time, probably only a few inventories of actual crafting. But you can expect to make about 1,870 leather items per hour, or you can craft that many hides, and since it uses only one, then you can craft about 1,870 leather items per hour, and you should get to level 20 super quickly. Alright, so once you reach level 20 crafting, you can start cutting gems, and at first you'll only be able to cut sapphires, and then at level 27 you can cut emeralds, at level 34 you can cut rubies, and at level 43 you can cut diamonds. At level 55 you can also cut dragonstones, and then even higher you can cut onyxes, but both of those are ridiculously expensive and never really worth it. But the other 4 gems are often quite worth it, especially at lower levels, and particularly sapphires and emeralds are usually fairly cheap to cut and still pretty high XP per hour. So cutting sapphires is about 135k XP per hour. You can cut about 2,700 gems per hour, which means that emeralds will be about 182 XP per hour, rubies 229k, diamonds 290k. Dragonstones are actually over 370k XP per hour, but once again they're not really viable because they're usually extremely expensive. And just for fun, onyxes are actually about a 450k XP per hour if you were to be able to be cutting them consistently. So yeah, you want to keep cutting gems until at least level 54, and then you can start making BATTLESTAVES, which pretty much are always higher XP per hour, excluding water BATTLESTAVES versus diamonds, so generally they're going to be better. You do want to check on the GP per XP, but BATTLESTAVES are almost always better in both cost and XP per hour. Alright, so once you get level 54 crafting, you do have the option of starting to make BATTLESTAVES, which are very high XP per hour, and there are 4 different BATTLESTAVES you can make, which are water, earth, fire, and air. And so at 54 you can only make water BATTLESTAVES. They grant 100 experience per staff, and crafting BATTLESTAVES is a 2-tick action, so you can make about 2,450 BATTLESTAVES per hour, reasonably speaking, if you are mouse key banking. So at that rate, it's about 245k XP per hour with water BATTLESTAVES. And then with Earth BATTLESTAVES bumps it out to about 275k, Fire BATTLESTAVES 306k, and Air BATTLESTAVES 336k. So this is what I personally did to level 99. Air BATTLESTAVES are usually pretty cheap, and you can usually get a lot of the orbs pretty quickly in the GE. I did sometimes craft Fire BATTLESTAVES also because they're not that much slower, and whenever they were cheaper I figured it was probably worth doing. And so this is what I did from the mid-60s all the way to level 99, and this is probably what I will do when/if I train the skill post 99. I'd say that these days this is the most common method, and this is what you'll see the most people doing. But there are a few other options that you can look into if they are cost effective at the time. So when you do hit level 63 crafting, you have the option of starting to craft dragonhide bodies, and you can only make green d'hide bodies at the start. At level 71 you can make blue d'hide bodies, at level 77 you can make red d'hide bodies, and at level 84 you can make black d'hide bodies. So you can craft about 1650 bodies per hour, which is 4950 leathers per hour, and if you're making black d'hide bodies, this makes them about 425k XP per hour, so they are a significant increase in XP per hour over making air battlestaves. However, they usually are significantly more expensive, so if they are cheaper or the same price, then it's definitely worth it to make black d'hide bodies instead of making battlestaves, because the XP per hour increase is very noticeable. As far as the other bodies, green bodies 307k, blue bodies 346k, and red bodies 396k. Very rarely are red bodies not super expensive, because red dragonhide comes into the game very scarcely compared to the other dragonhides, but mainly you will see people crafting green and black ones, and sometimes blue one as well. But yeah, black d'hide bodies are pretty much the highest XP per hour method for crafting that are going to be anywhere near consistent, because crafting onyxes is technically higher, but it's not at all possible in large quantities. And crafting dragonstones is actually, as I said, 370k XP per hour, so this is actually higher XP per hour than cutting dragonstones. So yeah, making d'hide bodies is definitely a decent option, but you just have to check what the GP per XP cost is on it at the moment. You can see all of that through the RS Buddy page, so I definitely encourage you to check that out if you're considering it. So one last little bit of trivia that I kind of wanted to throw in this video is technically the highest possible XP per hour crafting method, and that is attaching cave goblin wires to empty Dorian light orbs. And so you have to craft the light orbs out of molten glass because they're not tradable, so that right away makes it not efficient at all. But also, buying the cave goblin wires, they come into the game very, very scarcely, and they're fairly expensive, so it's not at all worth doing in any sense of the word, but it is fairly interesting because there's no tick delay on attaching the wires, which means that you could technically get about 1 mil experience per hour by doing this if you had all of the supplies ready to go. So if you do want to try to get a truly unbeatable 30-hour record of crafting, then you can do this, but it would probably take years to build up the supplies to do a 30-hour of this. So it's not at all a viable method, but still kind of interesting. Alright, so I hope this guide has helped you guys out to learn the best ways to train your crafting efficiently. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this guide, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to see more guides and progress videos from me. That's all for me for now, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all later.